Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Steam Prison, and we did all of Elk Creed's stories the last time, so we are going to start with Ulrich's stories, and that's pretty much where we'll get through this part. So, let's start. Ulrich after story. We want to read his point of view. Wait, yeah. He's the hero and we're the protagonist, right? Yeah. We'll leave our sprite in there and then we'll go back and read it in our point of view. Right, I forgot about that. I was in a dilemma. Well, perhaps it's not a dilemma, really. No, it was. And a terrible dilemma at that. I couldn't imagine a worse one. I mean, why do I have to be considerate? Fucking Ulrich. Everything had begun a few hours earlier. Like, I'm assuming that seems to me, well, it's not me, because it would say Ulrich. It's either me, or it's Elk Creed. I would assume Elk Creed, so. Home sweet home. Anyway, yeah. Oh, you're the only one here, Ulrich. Oh, what? You ought to understand what I mean. Where's your beloved woman? That's the question. Beloved? I really don't. Oh, she means nothing to you. Well then, I'll make her my... No, she's violent and doesn't have a clue how society works. She'll just give you trouble. I absolutely forbid you from taking her from me. Because she'd make trouble? You make much more trouble for me. Shut up! Telling you no! She's my... Your love? Something like that? Which means... Ulrich, come here. No, I'll come over there. Just stay put. El ordered his servants to make dinner. When the servants had left, he came near me again. Now, where was I? Time for your lecture. Lecture? I really don't have the... And I tried to leave, but Elk held me back. Oh no, you're not getting away, boy. If you don't want to end up with a bad end, you ought to listen to me. I trust you, Elk Creed. I trust you so much. I love you so much. Bad end? Yes, you can avoid it with minimal effort. Do you wish to avert that tragedy? What tragedy? Let's hear it. Here we go, then. You're too cold to her. She's weird and tolerates a lot. But if I was her, I would have dumped you long ago. You're joking. Yeah, because we know this is like a weird love relationship you two have. I'm not. I would have made a scene, walked out, and gone over to the guy whose name starts with Elt and ends with Teen. Valentine. When it's written like that, my brain didn't process, and I'm like, that's not right. Wow. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to love, sure. Your love is subtle and invisible, but you have to show it more. Okay, but how does that even work? I know a lot more than you do, El, but I can't bamboozle others with a creepy talk like you. It starts with the attitude. I don't know how to approach her, so I don't. Ulrich. I know where she is, okay? She wanted to buy flowers to put in her room. And I was thinking about going with her, but she's competent enough to do that alone. Coward. What? Why did you hesitate? It wouldn't have taken a lot of courage, would it? Change your attitude. But I know you don't like dealing with others, but you still love her, right? Despite that. And she loves you back. And there's no reason to hesitate. He put his arms around me and hit me on the back. Ow! Get up and go. Knowing the city's your job. Walk around and you'll find her. When you find her, invite her for dinner. Find a really moody place and enjoy your time there. I'll lock the doors until you get it done. I massaged my back and grumbled about his threats. I'll really do it, you know. Now get out! Fine. See you later. threw me out with the most obnoxious smile, and there we were. I'm not fine. Not at all. I couldn't deal with others. I'd been told to avoid them when I was little and had grown up sticking to that rule. Perhaps more than necessary, I knew. How did I even fall in love? Can't believe it. All I could tell, even looking back, was that Spacey was special. I knew I loved her. That doesn't make it easier to change my behavior, though. I didn't want to change for a girl. I was afraid I wouldn't be me anymore. But I don't want her to stop loving me either. I surveyed the crowds, grumbling bitterly. No, we love you because you're such a salty fucking little cupcake. The main street was very busy, but I could spy Spacey in the distance. I was sure she couldn't see me, but I could see her. My vision was excellent. I didn't even need my eyes. I'd lived in the dark for so long that I could sense her. If only I could sense her feelings, too. I always thought that the only people I couldn't understand were weirdos like Elk. I didn't really understand Spacey either. I don't think you understand really anyone, sweetie. You don't understand humans. Perhaps they were both unusually weird, I thought. It was hard for me. What could I do that she'd like? What could I do to make her laugh? What could I do to make sure she always loved me? I know! Lock her in a cage! I'm just kidding. But I'm just saying, that's usually how this shit goes. Ulrich is a good boy, he wouldn't do that to us. It's like, wow, that's fucking creepy. Thank you. Yeah, it is. We like it sometimes, but... Fuck you, Toma, we didn't like it when you did it. But like, you know, Gretel, okay! Sure, I guess. We were a little psycho in that too. Coward, he said. Fair enough. Normally I felt comfortably aloof. But when it really counted, it devolved into the situation I was in now. Even I thought it was pitiful. I don't want it to stay this way forever. Alright. Hey. I called out to Spacey and watched as her hair spun through the air. She turned around and gave me a visibly startled look. Wow, that surprised me. Of course it did. It would startle anyone. I agreed with her, but what came out of my mouth was... It surprised you? What kind of bodyguard are you? Do you actually pay attention? I love being in Ulrich's head. You know, the whole, like, whatever, but this is the best, is the, like, yeah, I mean, that's natural. It would startle anyone. What kind of a bodyguard are you? You suck. Like... Oh my god. This is so great. I'm sorry, I love it. See, but it's kind of like whenever you read characters, you're like, nah, you secretly love me. And he's like, I absolutely love you. What I meant to say was, I love you, Spacey. It was, God, you're stupid. What the hell is... fucking great. I was hardly aware of even saying it. I knew entirely too well that this behavior only created rifts between people. Most other people would have reacted with frustration and displeasure. Spacey seemed to have gotten used to my attitude, though. You're right. Sorry about that. Can I do something for you? In a way, but... I mean, I was only doing it because Elton told me to. I just saw you here and thought we could talk. I see. She whispered, smiled, and thanked me. My heart skipped a beat. Why was she so happy? Why are you smiling? I wanted to see you. I'm happy we ran into each other, even if it's a coincidence. Any specific reason? Spacey didn't answer and instead showed me the contents of the bag she was carrying. Aren't the flowers beautiful? I can't tell one flower from another. I guess this would be the moment where Elle would say something about how she's more beautiful than the flowers are. That ain't my style, I thought. Could you imagine Ulrich being like, yeah, you're more beautiful than the flowers? She'd be like, oh my god, are you fucking dying? Do we need to take you to a hospital? Are you okay? You've lost it. Oh god, Ulrich, I'll miss you. He's like, I'm not dying. I think you're dying. You must be dying. They look pretty alright. I didn't know what else to say. That's nice. I bought some for you as well. For me? Yeah, we'll have matching flowers. Nice, right? Seemed like a waste. I didn't know anything about flowers. Still, I don't really care for flowers, but thank you. Don't give them to me right now, though. I have no vase with me. Oh, that's right. Sorry. That thing I was doing, it wasn't supposed to go like that. I really had to fix that. Elle would have berated me about it. The way the conversation was going, I wasn't going to be able to ask her out for dinner. I had to change the conversation. Shall we go and drop off the flowers? You were going to give me some, right? Or not? Oh, I was. Let's go to my library then. Give me the bag, okay? The flower bag? I can carry... Give it to me. Elle always tells me that the man has to... Right. I shouldn't do that either. Not everything in my world had to revolve around Elk this, Elk that. Again, the two of you... I mean, it's weird. This is a weird threesome that we have. Correction, correction, I thought. Oh, correction, correction, I thought. A little more. Sounds better. Elle had nothing to do with it. I'm a man, you know. Let me carry your bags. I took the bag from her hand somewhat forcefully. Are you sure? She's like, are you okay? Of course I am. I can carry this one-handed, see? I showed her how I was carrying the bag in my right hand. Give me your hand so we don't lose each other. I grabbed her hand as soon as it inched towards me. Her hand is so warm. It wasn't the first time I'd held her hand. Still, walking along the street with her hand in hand was probably a first for me. I glanced over at her, half afraid I was imagining it. I felt faintly embarrassed. This is so stupid. Not a little kid. I could laugh at myself, but I still felt nervous. I hope she doesn't realize how nervous I am. Your palms are probably dripping sweat. And once we drop off the flowers, we can go eat at this restaurant here, alright? Good, good. My voice has been steady. You want to eat out? Oh, that's right. I neglected to mention that. I made a mess of the conversation. I let go of her hand and ruffled my hair. It's nice to eat with you sometimes. Only sometimes? We usually eat together. Together with Elk, though. He just always seems to be there. Shit! How the hell do you ask someone out for dinner? I feel... Oh, Ulrich. I identify with you and your confusion on life. I really don't want to use Elk as reference material. No, you probably shouldn't. I mean, Elk Creed being Elk Creed is understandable and we love him for it. Anyone else being Elk Creed is weird. Asking someone out for dinner wasn't part of the books I'd read. I really didn't want to copy Elk, but I had no choice. Would you like to partake of dinner with me? Shit. I mean, do you want to have dinner with me? What? That was better, right? Just answer, okay? You don't want to? Then just say no. I get it. You don't want to. Never mind. I didn't say that. Don't rush to conclusions. I was just surprised by that weird expression. Don't say that. Shit. I shouldn't have said anything. Forget all of it. No, I won't. Would you say it again? What? No, you don't say it often. I'd like to etch it into my heart. Now, that's a bit rude, don't you think? I briefly considered not repeating myself. I feel embarrassed, but also pressured into saying it again. Damn it! Listen, okay? I'll say it one more time, but that's it. I took a deep breath. She looked at me expectantly. Spacey, let's eat dinner together. Don't space out. Hello, why does everyone say this to me? Why are you spacing out? Duh, my name is Spacey. What's your answer? I want it now. Roger. Roger? What? Why are you talking like that? What's wrong with it? When you consider that you're saying yes to an evening date, yeah, it's pretty weird. A date? Yeah? Eating dinner together counts as a date? Right? I'm two fucking awkward nerds, I love it. This exchange is a little irritating. Half of me wanted to keep going while the other half wanted to end it. Because he's so awkward, he's like, I'd rather just not talk to people. I guess that's the kind of person you are. Never mind. I turned away and began to walk away. Let's go. Of course, honey. What? Aww. So cute. Before I could give her a startled look, Spacey linked arms with me. What? Let's go enjoy the evening, Ulrich. Oh, sure. I was so confused I almost dropped the flower bag. Why are you talking like that? To wind you up after challenging me over how I talk. I hadn't really intended to challenge her, but she was smiling, clearly enjoying it, and it was contagious. No, that's not the type of person I am. I wasn't gonna let my guard down and laugh loudly. To wind me up? Well, it's not working. She's like, bullshit, it's not. I looked away from her and started walking again. Let's go. Everyone dies eventually. And even if death isn't the reason, people are separated by betrayal or by their environment. That's the reason I always avoided getting close to others, but I still want to be with Spacey. Spacey had taught me how to trust others. She was so important to me. I have to change. I have to change for her. Don't stop loving me, okay? What's bringing that on? Nothing. I was who I was. Ulrich Fairy. That's all I could be. But still, I wouldn't have been who I was without her. I wouldn't be able to change at once, but I wanted to change, however slowly. Oh, alright, now we'll go read this again. Ulrich After Story, my point of view. Because, like, this one's definitely different, because we have a whole thing before he shows up. These are so nice. I bowed to the shopkeeper and left the flower store. The bag I was carrying was filled with colorful flowers. They were for me, and I bought some for Ulrich, too. He hasn't asked me for them, of course. I've been reminded of him when I'd seen the flowers in the shop. I hope he'll like them. The bigger question was whether he'd even take them at all. It was quite possible that he'd refuse them, saying flowers weren't his style. The grimace on his face. He's like, I'm starting to worry. What was I going to do if he didn't accept? Hey. I was suddenly removed from my reverie. When I turned around, Ulrich was in front of me. He looked at me with the same displeased expression he always had. He looks like we smell. Like, wow, that surprised me. It surprised you? What kind of bodyguard are you? Do you actually pay attention? He never seems to be in a good mood. Still, I thought, we were making progress. His treatment of me had been even worse when we first met. Besides, I agree, I wasn't paying enough attention. You're right, sorry about that. At least I wasn't on duty anymore. If Elk Creed had been with me and Ulrich had been an assassin, the thought scared me. Can I do something for you? I just saw you here and thought we could talk. I see. You saw me here, huh? In the past, he wouldn't have called out to me unless necessary. He was changed, I noted happily. He was changed. He had changed, albeit rather slowly. He was changing. I wanted to see him, and here he is. Somewhat belatedly, I smiled. Thank you, Ulrich. Why are you smiling? I wanted to see you. I'm happy we ran into each other, even if it's a coincidence. Any specific reason? I showed him the contents of my paper bag. Aren't the flowers beautiful? Ulrich stared into the bag. They look pretty alright. It was the briefest of answers. At least he didn't hate them. That's nice. I bought some for you as well. For me? Yeah, well, of matching flowers. Nice, right? I don't really care for flowers, but thank you. Don't give them to me right now, though. I have no vase with me. Oh, that's right. Sorry. I shouldn't get so excited. It's making me rush through this. I knew that I needed to give him time to process everything. So, when does he want them? Should we go and drop off the flowers? Huh? You were gonna give me some, right? Or not? Oh, I was. Let's go to my library then. Give me the bag, okay? The flower bag? I can carry. Give it to me. Elle always tells me that the man has to... I'm a man, you know. Let me carry your bags. Ulrich reworked his sentence and took the bag from my hands. Are you sure? Of course I am. I can carry this one-handed. See? He showed me how he was carrying the bag in one hand and held his hand out toward me. Give me your hand so we don't lose each other. He grabbed my hand almost instantly. Normally, the main road was very crowded, but that day it wasn't so bad. Besides, no matter how crowded, he wasn't going to lose me. Trailing people was part of his job. So we don't lose each other, huh? I returned his squeeze gratefully. Once we drop off the flowers, we can go eat at this restaurant here, alright? Huh? You want to eat out? Ulrich let go of my hand and ruffled his hair contemplatively. It's nice to eat with you sometimes. Only sometimes? We usually eat together. Together with Elk, though. Just always seems to be there. It's like God. Man's in his own goddamn house? What the fuck? Would you like to partake of dinner with me? Ah, shit. I mean, do you want to have dinner with me? What? That was better, right? Just answer, okay? You don't want to? Then just say no. I get it. You don't want to. Never mind. I didn't say that. Don't rush to conclusions. I was just surprised by that weird expression. Don't say that. Shit. I shouldn't have said anything. Forget all of it. No, I won't. Would you say it again? What? You don't say it often. I'd like to etch it into my heart. Now that's a bit rude, don't you think? Listen, okay? I'll say it one more time, but that's it. Spacey, let's eat dinner together. Ulrich had never asked me out like that. I was lost for words, feeling more confused than happy. I knew I had to say something, but the world seemed to be frozen in place. Don't space out! What's your answer? I want it now. Egged on, I finally managed an answer. Roger. Roger? What? Why are you talking like that? What's wrong with it? When you consider that you're saying yes to an evening date, yeah, it's pretty weird. A date? Yeah? Eating dinner together counts as a date. Okay. A date then. I tried to breathe and my heart began to race. I guess that's the kind of person you are. Never mind. Ulrich spun around and began to walk away. He's so cute, he's like embarrassed and blushing. Let's go. This is getting too one-sided. I was happy, but I didn't want to be led around by the nose. Of course, honey. What? And we get our CG again, yay! He turned towards me and I instantly linked arms with him. What? Let's go and enjoy the evening, Ulrich. Oh, sure. Why are you talking like that? To wind you up after challenging me over how I talk. To wind me up? Well, it's not working. Bullshit. Let's go. Ulrich looked away from me and started walking again. He's so much smaller than Elk Creed, but when I looked at him, he seemed taller and more dependable than before. Don't stop loving me, okay? What's bringing that on? Nothing. He's not nearly as weird as Elk Creed, but he can still be pretty strange sometimes. His behavior was still inexplicable and a little acrimonious. It didn't displease me, however, because I could feel his clumsy love behind all of it. Besides, I'm just as clumsy. Even telling him that I loved him was difficult. So... it's gonna take time for us to get close. Ulrich Fairy, I spy, my phantom. I prayed we were gonna have just as much time together in the future. Oh, okay. Now we go into short stories. And I kind of looked some of these, I think Sashin, maybe? Or a couple of them had 3 options, but the other ones only had, like, 1 short story. Because, you know, like, we went into Elk Creed, I kind of clicked in some of them quick, so it should be fine. Short story 1. All right, these are in his perspective. That's true. They weren't all after good endings because, like, one of Elk Creed's was after one of the bad endings, right? When, like, Ulrich died, and Ulrich didn't die in the good ending. So, it's so cold. Again, they do that weird pop-up, like... I left Elt's home a few days before. Spacey and I had left what we called the depths. We were outside human settlements and unexplored land. This is actually almost after one of Elk Creed's bad endings that counted as a... This must be after, like, Elk Creed died. He went to the Heights and died, and then that counts as an Ulrich ending because he's like, fine, I'll protect you and we'll leave here or whatever. That's the ending I think this comes off of, but... We were outside human settlements and unexplored land. We didn't know where we were headed. Towns didn't satisfy us, so we kept going. It's weird because it's like that text box, which is normally down here, keeps popping up here because this is where the text is, but it's like the weirdest fucking thing on these. It's like they didn't, like, QA the formatting. And we were still using the tunnels. It was safer than walking along the surface. We never slept in inns, looking for the place farthest from where we had come from. She's sleeping well. We slept in turns, sharing a blanket. We were sitting against the wall as you slept... Oh, we were sitting against the wall as you slept with your sword leaning against you. I watched you and kept the fire going. I had a lot of time. If only there was a way to take a library with you. We were only carrying the basics. I locked up my secret place, not that anyone knew about it. Felt uneasy about losing it. I missed my hiding spot. I wasn't gonna cry, but still, why didn't we stay there? When I thought about what I had lost, it hurt. Oh, that's me, probably. Moaning in my sleep. Your sleepy voice pulled me back. Thought you'd woken up, but no. We walked a lot. Of course you want to sleep. I wanted to sleep as well. Still, it was my turn to tend the fire, so I couldn't. I said I'd look after it. Promises. Things you said you'd do for someone else. I'd made many of them with Elk. Some were easy, some weren't. So many of them. He never broken any of his promises. At least I thought. I can't be sure with what with his personality. El had to work hard for my trust. He knew that I didn't trust anybody. And he still... Or because of it, I guess. It's so disconcerting when that happens. You're like in the middle of the story and then you're like, what? It like fucks with your eyes. El had told me the truth before leaving for the Heights. He'd known he was probably gonna die and never come back. I told him not to go, but he hadn't relented. Not even half-heartedly. Agreeing me would have been a betrayal of sorts. If he had done as I said, well, I don't know if I can read that. He would have betrayed the trust of many others as well. He acted like he never cared, but he did. So he left, smiling. Leaving you and I behind. I'm hardened to it. To betrayal as well. More than Elt is. I wasn't gonna believe he was dead until I'd seen it with my own eyes. If I could see him again, he was gonna have to listen to all of my complaints. I was gonna survive until then. Sorry, I slept too long. You woke up as I was telling myself to continue for the 100th time. I wasn't sure whether you had overslept or not. Are you awake? Or is that supposed to be me asking him? What? Yes, I'll look after the fire. You got up. You stretched your arms and looked around. I looked at you in your enthusiasm, asking whether you intended to do it standing. Yes, you said, and nodded. I don't want to fall asleep again, so don't worry about me and sleep. I want to. Talking had only made me more alert. Let's walk, then. I folded the blanket, and you asked me if I was sure. Asked me if I was sure, as I thought you would. I'm sure. I'm pretty hardy. I shouldered the backpack with the blanket in it and extinguished the fire. I want to get out of these tunnels. Out? Or do you want to keep living underground? We're not moles, you know. He followed after me. You think we can get out this way? Of course. Trust me. Not that I'm trustworthy. You quickened your step to walk next to me, and I continued. These aren't natural tunnels. Someone built them. They have to end somewhere. I wonder what the surface looks like there. Who knows? My library only had documents from before the flood. Wasn't information your job? I looked away, frustrated at hearing this pointed out. True, but I don't know. We both will soon enough. We'll look out the world outside and learn. I'll be the most learned fairy of them all. That's good to know. What do you think I am? I'm Ulrich Fairy. That sounded more like something Elk would say. The family name was worthless and unknown to most. I have to live with my heritage, and it's not even so bad, all things considered. I smiled, feeling Elk may have infected me, and walked onward. Let's get going. Don't fall behind, Spacey. Alright. Short story 2. My mother was taking me somewhere. We went into a half-ruined house on one of the back streets. She rolled up the old carpet on the floor to reveal a rusted metal door. She gave me the bag and unlocked it. It opened with a heavy creak and soon filled the air with dust. Sorry. I looked inside and saw a long stone staircase. It was dark and I couldn't see where it led. My mother looked around and began to descend. I hurried after her. I'd never seen this place before. The stone corridor led onward. Around us was a river of some kind or a lake. There was a constant sound of water running. The ceiling was high with minerals protruding from it like icicles. It was so cold that I was shivering. How far are we going, Mom? She's little, I'm assuming. My mother said nothing. That wasn't rare. My mother rarely said much. What are we doing here? She only occasionally turned around to look at the path we had come through. I wasn't scared since she was with me. It wasn't the kind of place I liked to visit. Not yet. Eventually we came out to a heavy metal door. A dead end. My mother said no and shook her head. Her fingers traced the characters on the door. And then... I mean, you knew we were going to the library, right? There was a click and the door opened. Wow! Mom, that's amazing! You can do it too. She smiled softly at me and took my hand. I touched the door and walked inside. No, this is the heritage of the fairy. Heritage? I didn't know that word, so my mother had to explain it. It was a secret library which the fairy had maintained. Most of the books had been published before the flood. If it's secret, should I know about it? Yes, you're a fairy too. My mother took a book from the shelves. She smiled at me and touched the binding. She looked so happy. My mother often read books. I'd always wondered where she had bought them. She must have brought them from here. That making sense to me. Well, like that making sense to me. I looked around, but it's an odd way to phrase it, but okay. That made sense to me. I looked around, something like that, but... There are more than I could ever read. Yes. Do you like that? Under my mother's influence, I also liked reading. I was reading it in, Ulrich mixed with his kid voice. That was awkward. I nodded vigorously and said yes. Did you read them all? No. At least half of them are left. It's very sad. Mom? I knew why this made her sad. My mother was gonna die soon. I don't want her to die. She told me herself. Not today or tomorrow, but we would have to part. Then I'll read them. I'll read all of them if you couldn't. Thank you, Ulrich. My mother patted my head. Her slender fingers combed my hair. This isn't all I wanted to show you. There's something even more important here. My mother put the book back on its shelf and took my hand again. The secret of the fairy is too heavy for you right now, but you have to know. Be strong. We have to accept it and show restraint. Accept and show restraint. Mom, I'm like 10. What could there be? To the child I was, the fairies meant little. I just loved my mother, so I did what she wanted. Maybe I'll understand when I grow up. If I read all these books, maybe I'll understand. I hoped there'd be an answer I could accept. And with that, I locked away another secret inside of myself. Wow. I feel like Elk Creed's was like over an hour, and this one's going to probably be under. I'm not sure who's starting this. So, what are you going to do with me? I had no idea where to start or what to talk about. So I asked the man in front of me for no particular reason. Oh. This is when he first met Elk Creed. Okay. So, what are you going to do with me? It's him asking Elk Creed. Okay. I had no idea where to start or what to talk about. So I asked the man in front of me for no particular reason. He was a young man, brimming with confidence and wearing glasses. Elk Creed Valentine. Our families have been connected for a long time, although I didn't know all the details. I guess it's a little more complicated. They'd known each other even before the flood, and that was a long time ago. My mother had tried to avoid contact. I never really had the urge to contact them either. And yet here we are. We'd met after I tried to burglarize their home and I'd gotten embroiled in his issues. Yeah, I tried to break into his house and then I got stuck in the middle of his shit. Don't break into my damn house. Before my confusion could subside, he'd taken me out of my comfort zone. Not only was he the head of a large bank, he'd become the district's representative as well. Too much social status. He had everything where I had nothing. He lived purely in the light. Merely looking at him made my chest burn. I wonder who's saying I do have to wonder. Huh. So someone said I do have to wonder. That sounded more like maybe it was more Elk Creed. Like, I do have to wonder. But we'll just pretend it was Elk Creed. Elk Creed was sitting on a couch on the other side of the table. Or maybe it was me saying it. I don't know. That's the hard part about these. I hate it. They're fucking everywhere. These little side stories where they don't tell you who's talking drives me bonkers. Was he making fun of me? Was he testing me? Did he have no clue? Elk Creed gave me an amused smile. What would be good? Good what? I had no idea what he was talking about. This place. Elk Creed stomped at the ground. This district is mine now. I think it needs a new name. Apparently having no brilliant idea of his own, he crossed his arms and looked at the ceiling. A name? Why now? Hey! No, hey! You have a good idea? I winced when I saw his gleaming eyes. No, that's not it! Creep? You're being weird! You didn't really say that, but it's Ulrich and Elk Creed, so yeah. What are you gonna do with me? That had been my original question. I really don't care what this place is called. It doesn't affect me at all. It should matter to you. He waited a moment before arguing. I was surprised by the strength in his voice and waited. I did not give Elk Creed a very strong voice. It should matter. His strong, intimidating voice. Okay. Would you like it if I called this district Wondrous, Wonderful Wonderland? I mean, I absolutely fucking would. Sounds like my kind of place, and absolutely what Elk Creed would name it. Huh? Would you like it? Hard to say. You wouldn't. You'd have to list an address and tell people where to send your luggage. The wondrous, wonderful Wonderland. I live in wondrous, wonderful Wonderland. I'm gonna get a sign that says that. People have like live, laugh, love. I'm gonna have wondrous, wonderful Wonderland, and I'm gonna put that outside my fucking apartment door. That's my new house name. Just look for the the wondrous, wonderful Wonderland sign. I'm sorry, I'm getting a sign made. Somebody make me a goddamn sign. You could shorten it to Wonder, 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 or 111. I really don't. Oh, do you actually like it? What do we do now? And then let's use a different example. Sprung Up Paradise. That sounds like a porn parody of something. I don't know. Hey, it's paradise. It sounds like we're a tiny special garden compared to other districts. Hyperbole, exaggeration, hubris. Oh no, that was him saying. I was like, why in the world is... I forgot the quotes were up here and there were no here. Anyway. Hyperbole, exaggeration, hubris. Even the abbreviation would be ridiculous. Sup. It'd be sup. A district name nobody wants to utter would be terrible. I have to give it a name that the people can use proudly. Listen, this is really, really important work. Damn. He was an idiot. A huge idiot. If it's so important, you should do it by yourself. Why? Because I'm basically an outsider, right? If it was so important for the district, all the more reason I shouldn't be involved. The moronic man in front of me gave me a look of disagreement. You're not an outsider. You're my right hand now. He's like, you have a right hand. It's attached to your right arm. What? Right hand. My right hand. An arm is a limb protruding from a human being's upper... He rambled on when I said nothing. Stop! That's it! I know what an arm is, you idiot! I see. Good. It isn't that easy to explain once you get down to it. He looked at me as though he was genuinely happy. Thought he'd be a bit saner. He looked so proper and uptight, but he was a real weirdo. I love this. Love that everyone's like, he looks so proper and uptight and he's a bank, so he's probably, oh my god! You are actually a mad genius, because he's not an idiot. He acts and says crazy fucking shit, and he's goddamn weird, but he's fucking smart. Like, Elk Creed is smart. He's just... cray-cray. And that's why I love him. He's so fucking bizarre. I didn't realize that I didn't think the perfect Otome husband existed, and then Elk Creed rolled on up with his goddamn glasses and his goddamn fabulousness and being a goddamn complete and utter fucking weirdo. But, like, not a weirdo where you're like, you're crazy. It's like, you are actually capable. You're not like some of the other weirdos we have where you're like, you're a weirdo and I don't know how you function. Elk Creed runs a goddamn district in a bank. He is fucking smart, but he is crazy. And it is like, but it's brilliant. You're like, you are. This is just insanity. I don't know how this works. How? I don't even care. I love it. Goddamn fucking weirdo. The glass is crazy, man. I love him. Okay, but he was... oh, wait, I guess that's us. Don't people tell you that you're weird? Yeah, okay, because I didn't read that sentence right the first time until I read it. Occasionally. More often than that, I bet. We're basically strangers. Why would you make me your right hand? You don't think it's dangerous? Not at all. And we're not strangers. The oath that the fairies and Valentine swore. Oh, that was supposed to be me. The oath that the fairies and Valentine swore? Yes, he said and nodded. That was ages ago. Why would anyone care about that? Oh, I'm not sure saying I will obey our oath at least. It sounds more like Elk Creed. Oh god, Elk Creed. And Ulrich. That's their... I can't. For some reason, my brain has still, to this day... I'm trying to say both their names at the same time. I will obey our oath, at least. Why? Because we met again. Elk Creed snapped his fingers. Servants came and placed cups on the table. They poured us hot black tea. Frankly, I'd almost given up on you. I just couldn't find you no matter how hard I looked. Elk Creed drank the tea and continued. I was worried you had died in the streets. And here we are. Don't you think it must be fate that we've met once more? Fate? Creepy. I know, I think so too. What? Why would you say it then? Elk Creed laughed and finished his tea. It is how it is, but telling another man you share a destiny is not something I enjoy. Still, he said, putting the cup back and crossed his legs, our meeting is really blessed by fate. We need to nurture this bond. I look forward to working with you, Ulrich. He nodded at me, but I didn't know how to respond. What could I say? I guess I'll live here now, so... Same, I mumbled and got up. Ulrich. Liberalitas. Elk Creed exhaled. I looked at him and said it again. It's an old word from long before the flood. As saving those in need is the meaning. I guess you like that kind of thing. I took my bag and straightened my clothes. Ulrich. I'm just going back to sleep. I'll be back tomorrow. See ya, Elk Creed. I left the building and looked back over my shoulder. I remembered this building. Vaguely. My mother had taken me there when I'd been small. Never thought I'd go there again, but now was going to be my new base of operations. Fate, huh? Ultimately, I was bound by the fate of the ferry, I thought. I went back to my library, pondering an uncertain future. Back to the only place that never changed. My personal paradise. Your personal paradise? Personal private paradise. Wondrous, wonderful Wonderland. It's my private personal paradise. Personal private. Sorry. Wonderful, wondrous, wonderful Wonderland. Elk Creed, you goddamn crazy so much. I'm just gonna have that in quotes and then underneath Elk Creed Valentine. I need a sign made. I have to fucking make. People be like, where's that from? Okay, you don't even understand. I can't explain it. Oh my god. Hide. Alright, there you go. So, those were all of Ulrich's stories. When we come back in the next part, which I think will be next week, because I think it's been a while since I recorded Elk Creed's stories, to be honest with you. It's nice when we do this, because like, oh, I can record just all their stories, and then I can come back in like a week or two or whatever. I don't even know. It's been like at least 2 weeks probably since I recorded Elk Creed's, but I'm assuming, I think this one was the second part on a Sunday, so next week, maybe? Anyway, in the next part, whenever that may be, we'll start the next story section. I don't know if it's Adage or Inez. Whichever one's next in the list, that's the one we'll go to. We're just going to do them in order of the things, so however they are in the thing, because otherwise I'll forget. So, who's ever next in the list will be our next one, and that's what we'll do in the next part. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to see more.